the truth is that that mindset you had, the actions that you took, how you showed up every day, what you did when you first started your business is completely different to where you are today. So if you're approaching things the same way, it's not that you're going to have some friction there. There's going to be some missing pieces. Hello, and welcome this week to the Leadership Bites, where I give you some snippets on how you can be a more aware leader, how you can guide your team better, and how you can build a healthier business. So I've been having several conversations this week, all about team. I haven't talked about team in a while, and not team from the standpoint of building your business from the inside out, but from the standpoint of like, how do you find the right people? And the conversation that I've been having with people lately is, and not only how can you find the right people, make sure you have people in the right spots, but how do you get them to do what you need them to do? So I wanted to run through this because I've been having several conversations and they kind of went like this. Both of them went like this. I have these people on my team, and these are the things I need them to do. And to date, they haven't done them, or they haven't done them well, or they've missed stuff. Or the one that was even better was, I'm their manager, but yet they seem to think that I support them. They don't support me. And this conversation, I had two this week, but this is a conversation I think I have every single week. And believe me, I've been there myself with people that have been on my team over the years, where it's like, wait a second, I need these things done. They're not getting done the way that I need them done, or I'm not getting the information that I need, or I don't know, there's something missing. There's a big gap there. So like I said, it's a conversation I have regularly. And I think it's something that a lot of managers, leaders, business owners have and think. Number one, just because behaviors have shifted, the world has shifted, people are dealing with a lot of stuff. Technology has shifted. We've had to learn new things, implement new things. But I think one of the things why there continues to be some friction is the way that we approach who we need on our team and what we need them to do. So I'm going to break this down real simple. And it's the advice that I gave to two business owners who I had conversations with most recently. And my hopes is that it helped them significantly, and I hope it helps you. And like I said, this is not anything I don't think it's groundbreaking. I don't think it's new. It's just the way that I look at it. It's the way that I approach building my own teams. And when I work with my clients, this is kind of the same thing that we do. And one of the big things centers around clarity. And it's not clarity from the standpoint of putting together a job description. That's part of it. But I think the other part of it is really getting clear on what it is that you're looking to do. And I think that's the part that a lot of people miss, because, a lot of founders that I work with, they're still approaching things in their business the same way that they approached them, even if they started their business 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago. They approach things the same way as when they first started. And the truth is that mindset you had, the actions that you took, how you showed up every day, what you did when you first started your business is completely different to where you are today. So if you're approaching things the same way, it's not that you're going to have some friction there. There's going to be some missing pieces. So hopefully today, in this episode, in this chat with me, hopefully you can start to get some insights and maybe some ideas as to how you can start to do things differently. And, a lot of time, and why this becomes a problem is because when you're a founder and you're first getting started, okay, And if you've been a solopreneur for a really long time and you're hiring your first person, this is where this comes in, because you've always been the operator. You've always been the person that has done everything. You've always been the person that has been in the middle of everything. You've always just done it. So if you're a solopreneur and you're hiring somebody, okay, and even if you've had someone on your team and now you're trying to have them, like, promote them into a higher level, and then you're hiring somebody else, many times over, I have found that people just expect that the person that they're hiring, or they just expect that the person that's worked for them for so long, and now they're getting promoted or now they're doing something different, that they just automatically know what to do. And the truth is that I don't care if you're hiring a consultant and that consultant is super experienced. They are not experienced in the way that you do things. Okay. Even if the way that you do things is totally backwards, they're still not experienced in it. They're not experienced in it and they don't know how you're doing things to begin with. They can't either learn the way that you want them to do it, but also B, help you to do things better. So expecting them, and I ran into this with a client of mine who has somebody that's worked for him for 37 years, I think. And he put her, she was someone that was basically like a customer service person, moved her into a management role and just expected that she just knew how to manage. And she struggled. When she went into a different role in a completely different area of the business, he never explained his process for how he did anything. And he just expected that she knew what to do. And she didn't. And there was constant friction. And there was constant, like, coming to me saying, I don't think she can do it. And then the other side, I don't know how to do this. And I'm so frustrated. And, like, I'm tired of having the conversation with him. So the bottom line is, you can't approach things today the way that you approach them, I mean, even like necessarily a year ago, because things are different, things are changing, and you're constantly growing. So you're constantly want to go back and review how you're doing stuff, how you're hiring, how you're explaining things, how your processes look. So clarity is the thing that's going to be key on both sides of it. Okay. And again, so often founders just get used to being the operator in the middle of everything. So when they go to hire an operator, they're not necessarily, they don't necessarily train them. They just think automatically, they just, I know how to do it, so they should know how to do it. And it doesn't quite work that way. Okay. So I want to give you, like I said, just some easy, simple things that you can do to, number one, get clear on the whole thing first. And then number two, what you can do once you find the right people, or even if you have someone that you're promoting. And then number three, how you can then go ahead and integrate it. So number one is get clear on who it is that you need in a specific role or multiple roles. And when I say who, I mean the person. I mean, and this is the role. What kind of a person do you need? Like, what does the role entail? So if you have someone who is going to be heavy into customer interactions and really building that customer experience, you don't want someone who's necessarily shy, right? You don't want someone in that role who wants to just be on the computer and doesn't want to talk to people. You don't want someone in a role like that. You want to be super clear on what is the role, okay? And who do you need in that role? So one of the conversations I had recently was, I want you to literally give me a blurb, a paragraph, a statement, a phrase, whatever it is, as to what is the vision for this role? What is the vision for this role? And then once you look at that, you can say, who do you need in this role that will align with that vision that you have for that role? Somebody who is going to be a customer experience manager, you want them to be really good at teaching. You want them to be really good at interacting with people. You want them to have some kind of intuition as far as how people learn. So you want people to have certain human skills. Okay. So number one is like literally say what the position is, the name of the position, and what is your vision for that position. And then say, okay, who do I need to make that vision a reality? Second thing is, what does that role do? Now we get into the job description. What exactly is that role doing? All right. So now we have the vision. Now what we're doing is we're kind of breaking down the strategy of that role. All right. So now we're going to break down what is the job description for this person that if they do all of these things, guess what? It's going to make the vision for that role happen. So now we're going to start to brainstorm out the things that you want in that job description. Now, the one thing I forgot to mention is before we do step one, step two, we want to start with let's brainstorm out all of the things that we're doing. Like, why do we need this person? Why do we need these people? Okay. One of the businesses that I run, we were looking at kind of how we had stuff structured, all right, in the restaurant, and realized as we were going through and we were saying, okay, this is the big vision and the big goals that we want to get to. Here's our aim. Here's our current team. Here's our current organizational structure. We have a gap here. We have a gap. And that's how, when we looked at it, we said, we need a certain person in this leadership role to completely lead this one area of the business. It happens to be the whiskey area. So we need someone to lead that area. So when we looked at where we were going, the vision, the aim, the goals that we have, when we looked at that and we looked at our current structure and we said, okay, we need someone in the structure because we have a huge gap and we can't fill it because either A, we don't have the right person or right people, but also B, we just don't have, like, our team doesn't have the capacity to take on this additional work to make this a reality. So getting clear on why do you need these new roles or this new role, okay? And then also brainstorming out all of the things that you need to have done, and that's your why. So then we get into getting clear on the role, getting clear on the vision of the role, and then who do we need in that position? And then literally taking that brainstorm list and saying, okay, what are the things that we need this position to actually do to make the vision for the role happen? And then you create your job description. People get job descriptions and roles, they think they're one and the same, and they're not, in my experience. Because if you're solely looking at a job description, you're just solely looking at someone to just check boxes and complete tasks. And if you're solely looking at that, you are missing a giant piece, which is making sure that you get the right person in that position. That's why a lot of people, especially in the restaurant industry, which is an industry I'm involved in, they have a revolving door of people because all they're trying to do is just put a person in a position instead of looking at the role and saying, what is the role all about? And who do we really need to fill this role? And then saying, here's the hard skills that we need someone to do. So instead of getting a box checker, you get someone who's actually creating a new version of a box. And then they're completing these tasks. That's how you get alignment in a position. When there isn't alignment, that's when breakdown starts to happen. That's when, you're like, well, I expected them to do these things and they're not doing them. So once we have those things done, okay, once we have that, then what we can do is we can start to create all right, here's how I do things. All right, here's my process for executing this. An example, based on the conversation I had the other day, where the leader was like, these people, like, I hired them so that they could run the operations. I hired them so that they could do the prep work, and it's not, they expect me to do it. So my question was, well, did you explain how you want it done? Did you set the standard instead of matching their energy? Did you set the standard to say, this is how I want things done? This is what you're going to do. So getting clear on the role, getting clear on what they need to do, and then saying, here's how I do it, and here's how I would like it done. And that part of it is so important, especially when you're developing onboarding processes and when you're developing training processes. So what we uncovered in that particular conversation is that he was expecting people to do things and they didn't necessarily know how to do them. They were promoted to a manager role and they didn't necessarily know how to manage, at least not the way that he wanted it done. And then instead of when a small thing, if a task needed to be done and they didn't do it and it was something super small and he let it go and he just took care of it for them, then guess what? It happened again. And it happened again. You're creating the standard for them. So then, of course, it happened so many times that he was getting frustrated and the team or these two managers were thinking, oh, it's okay because he'll just take care of it. And it wasn't okay. So number one, there wasn't any communication, which is key. So we have clarity, we have communication, which is key. And there wasn't any responsibility, taking accountability for what needed to happen. So your second part is literally writing down, all right, since I know that these are the things that I want them to do, and these 10 things that are part of their job description align with these 3 processes that I currently handle myself. All right. So one process, something super simple, was handling the whole prep area in the kitchen. All right. So how do you, what is that all that process for prep? What does that look like? So it requires you documenting what needs to happen in that particular process. Another process is another leader that I was speaking to. It's speaking engagements, not just helping to book speaking engagements, but doing the research, getting the booking, communicating with people. So it's research, communicating and the reach out, and then booking the speaking engagement, and then what needs to happen in the follow-up. He had a whole process for that, but it wasn't communicated necessarily. So it's part of that is, okay, how can I take what I do or what I expect and create that standard so that someone can literally run through it and handle it the way that I want it to be handled. Now, so the first part is we have clarity. The second part is we have connection and communication. And then the third part is, and this is the cool part, this is where the integration happens. So you get clear on the roles, you get clear on what the people are doing, you get clear on why you need this position in the first place. You're hiring the right person. They come on board. You have all your processes documented for how you do things or how you want things done. Now what we do is we do the integration piece, which this is the part that, again, people mess up because they're like, okay, Theresa, I'm good. I had this with one of my clients. I'm good, Theresa. Our processes are tight. Everybody knows how to do them. Okay, well, let's see them. Are they written down? Do you have a video? How can you explain them to someone? And what we uncovered is they weren't written down. They were up here. So I always like to say, create that process every way someone would learn. So written, you have a video where they can watch it. And then you also have that live interaction with them. All right. And here's the fourth piece. You have those processes already documented, but you're walking them through the process and they're actually walking through it with you so that you can start to tweak the process. They can poke holes in it. They can say, you know what, I think we can actually do this a better way. And with my client that said, oh yeah, we're good, our processes are tight, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. And what we uncovered is they didn't. So she literally went through how she wanted stuff done. And with each one of those people, found that she had some misalignment with team members. So some team members ended up getting moved into a different role. Some team members ended up, she had to part ways with them because they just were not aligned with the vision. But you wouldn't know that if you don't walk through this process in this way. So the last piece of it, like I said, when we found out that she had a lot of people that didn't really know how to do stuff or didn't know what the expectation was. So then the next thing that we did is she ran through each process in her business of how she wanted things done, how she did them, what the expectation was with each person on her team that filled a specific role. And they walked through it together. So what did they end up doing? They co-created. So you have clarity, you have communication and connection, and then you have co-creation. If you follow that process, when you are from hiring to onboarding or to taking someone and you run them through a transition where they're being promoted, if you run through those 4 steps, if you want to call it, if you run through that, you're going to continue to have a cohesiveness in your business. 5 C's. You're going to continue to have that cohesiveness in your business. That number 1 keeps people connected to the vision. Number 1 keeps people connected to what the expectation is and why things need to be like this. It keeps them connected to the things that they're doing on a day-to-day basis, how it has the importance that it has on the bigger picture of what's happening, why they matter in their role. And when you do that and that cohesiveness starts to happen, that's when things can just expand. That's when you can really step back because people are, number 1, they're doing things the way that they need to be done. And they're focusing on doing them even better. So your processes are consistently growing as your business grows, as people grow. And they also achieve a level of confidence, autonomy, empowerment, all of those things, because they're part of the process, not separate from it. They're part of the vision, not separate from it. And they understand the impact that they make in making it all happen. So next time you're going to hire somebody, or maybe you have somebody in your team and you're like, they're just not doing what I need them to do. Like, I'm just not getting the results. And like, I have these expectations and like, I just don't know what to do. Go back and see, is there clarity? Has there been communication? Is there clarity in the role, in the vision for the role, in what they need to do, in why you even need the role? I mean, that's another thing. I've seen lots of people who create roles because they have other people who aren't doing the work. So they think, oh, well, we're understaffed, so we're just going to add some more staff. And they realize, no, we just have the wrong people in the wrong role. It's a classic problem, classic. But is there clarity? Has there been communication? Clear, concise communication? Has there been connection? And have you then co-created it with them to create a cohesive experience? One that, again, builds confidence and really creates the success that you're looking to achieve. So I hope that this helped you. Until next time. By the way, we do have some things coming up. So we are going to be launching something. I'm bringing it back. People. The Founders Table. Stay tuned for that because we are going to have applications. It is a small group it's a small group where you work with me in this small group, and it's for founders. And it really it's built the way a business advisory board is built. It's really intended to help you, if you're in a period in your business where you're going from growth to scale and you need some help. You want to be around people who are in the same situation as you. Maybe they're a little bit further ahead than you and you need to be pushed. And there are things that you need to rebuild in your business. Maybe you're stuck. Maybe you're struggling with some things. Maybe it's just, I don't know how to implement all this technology and AI that everybody's talking about. And like, I've been running from it, but I know I need to lean into it and use it right. This group is going to be for you. So stay tuned for more on that, and a link so that you can apply to join me in that group. It's only 6 to 8 people in the group. I purposely and intently am keeping it small, but we're going to be launching that soon. So stay tuned. But till next week, have a great rest of your week. And hopefully it is beautiful weather where you are. All right, take care.